Alrighty then.
What it do? What it do?
Alrighty then. Here you go. We coming. We coming. Ah. What's up, y'all? We back at it, and this is our second episode. We're excited to start this episode. We're gonna be talking about some good stuff. We really so just welcome to back to Spirit Fed Podcast, and our girl Chalili is back. Of course, she's gonna be a guest. She's gonna be part of the podcast. She don't even know. She just told me, no, I want to do it several times, but no, you're gonna be a part of it. You just didn't know that.
Oh my God.
Truly, we want to transmit some good Bible-based theme tonight. We want to be able to bless people tonight with the theme that we have.
Yeah.
What's up, Cha? How you doing
Yo, what it do? They tried to kill me at work.
today, huh?
Them little kids. I don't know about this generation coming up. They might be possessed, all of them. Every one of them.
All of them.
Every single kid.
Oh
I'm
my
worried.
goodness! And you dealing because sometimes you deal with like junior highs, and sometimes
Yeah, but today was pre-K to 5th.
so the small ones.
Yeah.
Ooh, they're tough.
Lord bless them.
Lord bless them.
Because I was about to kick them.
Ooh, okay.
I just want to say that.
Oh, okay, all right. Let them not hear you. Not listen to this.
I don't care. I'm ready to go.
You
I just
ready?
kidding.
Oh my goodness.
So what we talk about today? People?
Yeah. So we're talking about distraction. Distraction. Go ahead and read out the theme that we got for tonight.
So basically, we want to talk about, like you said, we want to talk about distraction. And this is a very known phrase that you've probably heard before, but we wanted to kind of discuss it a little more. And it's wherever the enemy can't destroy, he will distract. And so it's basically entails of, anything in your life, any area in your life, maybe you yourself, if he can't destroy you or whatever you got going on, he's going to try to distract you. And so we want to talk about or address the different distractions, address the different tactics of the enemy, and give tools to be able to overcome these distractions and try to stay focused in whatever it is that God has called you to. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, I think distraction is a real thing. I think we can all get distracted though, like during the day. Looking at something, maybe at work or driving. You can be distracted, but we're talking about. We'll definitely we'll look at it spiritually, but we also will look at it as like life itself, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that God spoke to me at the beginning of this year, and we were fasting. He spoke to me. He said these words to me. He says, "Stop wasting time. Stop wasting time." And then I kind of prayed about it, and I kind of, prayed and said, "Lord, what exactly am I wasting time on?"
Yeah.
Like so, this popped up like distractions.
Yeah.
Because you can be wasting time in distraction.
Yeah.
You can be doing something that you think you're doing, but you're not really progressing. You're just you're standing still.
Yeah.
Just moving on the same spot all the time. So it is a new year, and it's something that we want to progress. The Bible says that we're supposed to grow. We're supposed to grow in knowledge and stature. We're supposed to grow in the deepness or the consecration in our consecration towards God. And so it's very important that we understand that we're not supposed to be at a halt. We're not supposed to be at a stop, but we're supposed to be moving and growing. And so one of the things that we want to do is what is distraction? Or let's look at the definition of distraction.
So to be distracted is being unable to concentrate because one mind is preoccupied. And then you also have kind of like a synonym or like another form of distraction is diversion, or to be divert. And it's to cause someone or something to change course or turn from one direction to another. or to draw the attention of someone from something, which we actually see that in the garden, where Satan was able to draw the attention of Eve from God to herself.
That's awesome.
And so that is a tactic that the enemy will always use to try to.
Yeah.
There was actually a podcast that I watched where this girl was sharing her testimony, and she was like, the enemy can care less if you serve him or not. He just want to get your attention away from God.
Wow.
And so I feel like this is probably one of the top tactics. Diversion and distraction is one of the top tactics that the enemy will try to use to get you as far from God as he possibly can.
Wow.
So,
and it I'm thinking now that you said that, I think that was powerful. Could we think that we're doing something appropriate or right or correct, and yet, drifting away from God, because we're thinking, okay, we're moving, but yet we're actually moving away from our source, right? Because our source is God. So I thought that was the second word that you said, diversion, which is to divert, to split in half. So that's what happens.
And just like you said, like sometimes it's something that we don't even realize that, or like it's just something. It may not be bad. It may be a thing, something that we think, oh, this is a good thing, and we're just preoccupied. So let's just bring it up, like in the book of like in the Gospels where it talks about Martha and Mary. Martha genuinely believed that she was doing a good thing, and she got frustrated because Mary was not helping her. And when she asked Jesus, she's like, Jesus, tell my sister she needs to stop being lazy and help me. And Jesus basically told her Mary actually is focused on the right thing. And it's not that what Martha was doing was bad, because she was just trying to prepare something nice for Jesus, but she was preoccupied when she didn't even realize who was sitting in front of her and what he was like, what he had to offer. She was so busy on trying to, I want to serve. I think that is actually very prominent in the modern day church. I've seen it in the church that I used to go to, where people would get so preoccupied with serve God, do this, that they would be serving, not even be a part of the service. Didn't even receive the word, doesn't even know what the service was about. And some churches even put like requirements where you serve in one service and you attend another service, because it can get easy to get caught up in it, and then you just miss what God even did in the service. So it's not necessarily that what you're doing is bad. It's just that your mind is preoccupied.
It's pretty amazing, because one thing that always captures my attention is it's the fact that sometimes you go up, you see worship leaders, like we're worship leaders, right? And so you see people coming up and they're leading, and they're trying to bring down heaven, and they're trying to, but then they're in the crowd and they're no longer leading, and you see them with their hand folded, looking at the other ones doing everything. So for a lot of times I observe those things. I think, where is the relationship of this person when it comes to his private moment? And you're not working at this time, but you should be worshiping. You should be, there should be some kind of adoration, because the position you're in as a worship leader, right? Or as just a singer or a musician, and so I think that's a real thing. I think that that we have to be careful what you were saying. So this was what I see in Martha. Martha was so busy, and the thing is that Martha was doing, like, when I read this story in Luke chapter 10, I see that Martha was actually doing something good. Like she was cleaning
was
and putting in,
whipping it up for
like
Jesus.
who's gonna eat?
Cooking rib tips for Jesus with macaroni. Martha was doing the thing.
She was doing some carne
Busting down in that
asada.
kitchen.
Some carne asada. You know what I mean?
She was doing some
doing.
flan. I don't know.
Flan. There you go.
Pudding,
Yeah.
you know?
And the thing is, if she didn't do that, I'm thinking, but Jesus, like, how y'all gonna eat afterward?
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna?
You over here trying to talk. I'm trying to eat.
I'm trying
Jesus,
to eat
so
something, right?
we need to
Yeah.
figure out what's going on.
But the thing is that Jesus said, Mary has the best portion.
Yeah.
The better portion.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. You can be serving in a church. You can be serving in anywhere. It's like, even if we apply it to like family, like sometimes we men work, but yet we are completely distracted by work to the point where we're not even focused on what's happening to our kids and to our family, So I think that it relates. It correlates with the fact that you can be busy doing something, but yet disconnected from the source or from what the real meaning is. So I think that's powerful. I mean, I felt bad for Martha.
Yeah.
My girl Martha, when I go up there, I say, girl, you could cook.
Yeah.
You could cook for me.
Come on, cook for us.
Just cook some ribs.
Come on, Martha Stewart.
Come on. Let's just just do some.
Little
just
do y'all
some
know,
ribs.
the Martha in the Bible was Martha Stewart. Who is
little
the cook
did we know
that we
little did we know
that's Martha Stewart.
Yeah. And so I really think that that's a valid point, and that it's a point where we do have to be careful.
Yeah.
While we're serving, while we're doing music, while we're doing anything, while we're working, not that won't become a distraction.
Yeah.
And we will miss the best portion of things, which is God, which is our relationships, our intimacy with Him, but also our families and our children's, and so.
Yeah, and those are like all the good things that we can get preoccupied with, but then there are the not so good things.
Yeah.
That we can get preoccupied with. Social media with people my age. You've got put onto social media,
and I can't let go.
You on that stuff now?
I'm
you done got a little.
If I don't have it, I'm scratching.
Like,
I'm like,
So we got a day and age where it's probably easiest to be distracted. Not only social media, but even the problems in our lives, like the stuff that we go through, we get so preoccupied and distracted by what we go through, and it causes us to lose focus or take our eyes off of Jesus, and we end up like Peter, where the brother was literally walking on water, but because he started to get distracted by the wind and the waves, he found himself sinking. Wow. And it's because he took his eyes off of Jesus. And so I think sometimes, and I say this as I'm guilty of it. I've allowed myself to get distracted by the unfortunate things in life. So much so that I've found myself with my eyes completely the other way. Wow. Jesus is here, and I'm here.
You're looking.
I'm
180 degrees back.
I'm an owl.
Yeah.
I'm an owl. I turn all the way.
Yeah.
And then because of that, I found myself to be in some of my lowest places because I've taken my eyes off of Jesus. And so I think that, again, a tactic of the enemy is to always try to get you to turn away, because thank God for His grace and Him pulling me out of that. But there are people who don't get pulled out, or there are people who don't get out of the funk as quickly, I guess, as I do. They spend years, or they walk away from the faith. And that's exactly the plan of the enemy.
Yeah. I think that the title of it, where the enemy can't destroy the areas that are now protected by God in our lives, so He can't touch. He's unable to cross the fence per se, right, and touch it. So, but then those areas, now he's okay. So I can't touch you because you're a son and a daughter of God. But then let me distract you. Let me pull a card somewhere in your
Let me
life.
make somebody in your family sick.
Yeah. Yes.
Let me make
yes.
your car not start up.
Yeah.
Let me throw some some wrenches.
Yeah.
Some wrenches in
yeah.
the.
Yeah. In the
I
mix.
forgot to
Yeah.
say. Let me throw some wrenches in the macaroni. I don't know what the saying is.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so he can't touch us, and that's an amazing thing. But yet he's gonna from the other side of the fence. He's gonna be doing stuff.
Hard. Yeah.
And he's gonna be. I don't know if you've ever seen a cat hunt or even like a lion, or they a lot of times they usually move their tail, and they're completely dug down. So the what will you call them? The one that's gonna get hunt.
Oh,
There's a name.
the predator.
The
predator. The prey.
The prey.
The prey.
The prey.
The prey.
So the prey, it's now focused on the moving object, and he's getting closer, and he doesn't even
realize.
know.
Yeah.
He doesn't even realize. So I think that we really have to, and this is where my heart was when I was thinking about this theme. I'm like, man, this year, how can I not put my eyes on what's moving and making noise to try to distract me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, so this is a perfect time to mention this because I was watching James.
Oh, yes.
I don't know his last name. I
Well,
cannot pronounce it.
We
but
should give it because
yeah,
that guy
we'll put it
is a
somewhere.
blessing.
James, it starts with a K. It's an African name, but I was watching this testimony of this guy, and he was basically he's an ex-warlock.
Whoa.
Like he was he was an ex-warlock and probably like a part of the occult and everything.
Yeah.
And he was in a country where basically he was sent on an assignment to stop. There was a small church of a pastor and these women, and they entered a covenant prayer with God, and they prayed every single day for however, I don't know, 3 months, 2 months.
Wow.
It was a certain time frame. They prayed every single day, and it was a covenant prayer, so they could not break it. They could not break the prayer. They could not stop. They had to meet every single day for however long. And little did they know, their prayers was actually hindering the witches and the evil in that area. Yeah. So he went to this conference or something where they basically told him, they're like, hey, we need you to go and make these people stop praying.
Right.
Because they've taken territory. They're hindering us from being able to work. So, but they tell him, they said, but the thing is, you cannot harm them and you cannot kill them.
Come on.
And so he went in and he's like, okay. So he's top of the line warlock. He's on his game.
He was a lord.
So he's like, okay, let me figure out a way to be able to get into the mix and make them break the covenant. And so he had some ladies with him. I'm sorry I ruined it for you, but you can still watch it. But he had some ladies with him, and I can't remember every single thing of the story.
Yeah, no.
But what he did was, you know, the enemy has notes and history on us.
Yeah.
He pays attention to what makes us upset.
Oh, yeah.
He pays attention to our weaknesses. He pays attention to our family history, the relationships we had. And how he got in is it was through the little things. So, for example, one of the ladies that was a part of the prayer, she had like mommy issues, like her mom wasn't getting along or something like that. So a lady, one of his ladies.
Oh, child, this is powerful.
Yes,
Whoa.
One of his ladies went in, and they got into an argument or something, and she offended the lady. She was like, you act just like your mother. So the Christian lady went off.
Of course.
She went off and somehow somebody like defiled. She pressed the button and defiled the covenant.
Yeah.
The pastor, the main guy.
The main man.
Right. The pastor, how they were able to distract him. It started off with them like giving him gifts. Oh, pastor, I want to give you a car. Oh, I want to give you money. Oh, pastor, we bought you a house so that you can go and live in the house. The house is far away from the church that they were meeting at. And so it started to become harder and harder for him to get there. And then they touched his the one of his children, I think his son, made him sick. So now he's taking care of his son and going to sleep late, and now
now he can't pray.
he
Now
can't.
he can't
He's
forget about that.
waking up late and stuff like that. And so I forgot specifically what caused it. I think that's what it was. But just little stuff
My
like that
God,
the enemy
little
planted
distractions.
to make them break the covenant prayer.
Good God.
And so after watching that, I was like, wow, like sometimes
Man.
we can be so ignorant
Yeah.
to what the enemy is obviously
Come
trying
on,
to
come
distract
on.
us
Yeah,
from.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that made me question everything. Somebody offered me money. I'm like, why?
Why?
What you want to give me that money for? You
Is
trying to
it-
distract me, aren't you?
You trying to distract me? It's at 100,000. Well, go.
Why are you trying to give me that Kia?
Yeah.
Hand it here. Give me the
Hand it
keys.
here. Give me the keys.
You win.
You win.
But yeah, it's so crazy. The enemy is cunning.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
he
yeah.
is creative.
You said something, or well,
The guy.
the guy.
It wasn't
said,
me, it was
but,
James.
But, yeah, but
I'm not that
But
wise.
you said it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
now, right? And I thought that was deep. The fact that the enemy knows our history,
Mm-hmm.
and so because the enemy knows our history, he can always pull out the one weak area to affect us.
Yeah.
So we have, and this is and when I started, I said we supposed to grow.
Yeah.
We supposed to heal. We supposed to develop spiritually and naturally, just as a human being, as a man.
Yeah.
I gotta be mature. I have to be able to conquer certain areas in my life, but I won't do it unless I'm intentional.
Yeah.
So intentionality is extremely important, and so there won't be any distraction later on.
Yeah.
So if I say, okay, I have mommy issues, or I have daddy issues, or I have what else?
Boyfriend, girlfriend,
I
trauma.
hate. My anger is extreme.
Yeah.
And I don't work on that. I don't say, Lord, listen, I have this. I come before you. I have these issues. I want you to heal me. I want you to, restore me. I want you to dry those areas so I won't continue diving into them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A.W. Tozer.
Yeah.
He says distractions must be conquered or they will conquer you.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I was like, well,
Well,
I done got conquered a couple times because I'm not going to lie to you. I am that person at
Yeah.
2 a.m. scrolling on TikTok.
yeah.
And guys like, you literally could have spent time with me. And I'm like,
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, for sure. If we don't conquer them, they'll conquer us.
Yeah.
For sure. There is something also in Nehemiah, the book of Nehemiah.
Yeah.
Um,
What's the name of the book?
Nehemiah.
Yeah.
I'd
said,
say
yeah.
Nehemiah because I was saying it in Spanish, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
let
I
me
know.
correct myself.
I know.
In Spanish, it's Nehemiah.
Nehemiah. Oh, Nehemiah.
Nehemiah. And in English, it's
Nehemiah.
Nehemiah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's interesting because he goes and rebuilds the walls of Jerusalem of the city, right? And then we'll see later on in chapter 6 when he already had rebuilt the thing.
Yeah.
These three guys. I think it was
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumber, right. them, and they're like, how about we invite you for a meeting?
Yeah.
And he's working, he's doing big things, he's doing, and so they're trying to distract him. There comes the distraction. Now he had already finished, and there was no holes in the wall. The Bible says, right? But then he says that these people came over, these three guys came over, invited him for a meeting.
Yeah.
Now, the Bible says he knowingly or he knew what they were about to do, that they didn't mean well.
Yeah.
What do you think about that when you read those and how he responded?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I actually wrote here because I think that the reason why Nehemiah was able to respond as wisely as he did is because he recognized the tactic.
Yeah.
And so I think that with us,
Yeah.
in order for us to be able to to be able to discern when the enemy is trying to distract us from something, we have to be able to recognize the tactic.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes we don't
For sure.
recognize it.
Yeah.
I myself have, it took me to literally, God had to remove scales from my eyes. I was struggling with anxiety, depression, like this. My mind was like so clogged up, but I did not, and this was like last year, I did not recognize until I had enough, and I was in my room crying on the floor, tears, boogers, snot, everything, crying out to God. And as I was crying,
Wow.
and I opened up the Bible and I read a verse, something that Paul said. It was about like when he said, "Take the thorn from me."
Yeah.
And Jesus was basically like, I'm going to use this for my glory.
Yeah.
And I think it was that Bible verse, but the scales, I physically felt scales move from my eyes.
Oh, wow.
And then I started to realize, I'm like, oh my gosh, the enemy had me distracted.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
had me completely, I was in spiritual warfare, didn't even realize it.
Wow.
Yeah. And then now that I
Wow.
was able to be out of the, like, thank God that he moved the scales, because now I have been able to respond accordingly with the
Yeah.
word of God,
Yeah.
with truth.
Yes.
But
yes,
sometimes we actually have scales on our eyes. And so you have to ask God, remove these scales.
Yeah.
Help me see,
Yeah.
because something's going on and I don't know what it is.
Right.
Help me see what it is that's going on.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I think that Nehemiah was able to recognize the attack of the enemy.
Yeah.
And that's why he was able to respond,
Yeah.
and basically say, I'm not going down. Why would I finish my work to go meet with you? I'm doing God's work.
Yeah.
Like, why am I going to talk with y'all? You know?
It's interesting. He uses these words. He says, I'm doing a great thing. I'm doing big things.
Big thing.
Big things.
Popping. Little things popping.
Okay. Okay. But he was doing big things,
Yeah.
you know, so he's like, listen, I'm doing something very important. I think that shows us the effect that when you're busy in doing things, either like for the Lord and you're connected to the purpose of God,
Yeah.
those distractions that come, because they'll come, whichever way, they won't be effective in your life because
Yeah.
you're connected in the purpose of God. You're connected, right? So, and so I just think that we need to, what you just said just now, evaluate. Man, that was amazing what you said earlier, with what happened to you last year, because you were in a war, spiritual warfare, and not knowing.
Didn't even know.
I'm wondering how many Christians and how many people are in a spiritual warfare
Don't even recognize it.
and just recognize something and give it a natural issue, a natural name to it. Oh no, it's called depression. Or I got
struggling with
anxiety,
Yeah.
and I have this, but what's the root of it? Where can we? And it's the Word of God. It's the relationship you have with Him.
That's something we'll have to get into in another podcast too.
We're gonna have
For
to, right?
sure.
Yeah,
Because I feel like, especially with, I mean, I can always talk about my generation.
yeah.
My generation, everybody got some type of mental illness, depression,
I'm telling you.
anxiety. I don't know, whatever it is.
You know
like,
how my dad got rid of that
what?
in us?
He beat your behind?
He grabbed the belt. And he told us, if y'all don't go clean the backyard,
This belt?
a whooping is
I
gonna
got
happen
you.
right now. Don't
I
worry
got
about
you.
it. And that it left. It was gone.
I'm happy.
I'm happy that
Joyful. Love the Lord. Love my life.
I'm happy.
I love my life.
I'm not depressed. I don't care about depression. You know, because I'm breaking.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
cleaning. I'm busy. I'm busy.
My mind is occupied on work.
Hey. So,
It's okay. Yeah.
are we on?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And so, where we were at, got distracted.
That's the tactic right there. Your own daughter.
Right there.
Your own Ashley Ortiz has been used by the enemy.
That's the end. Oh my goodness.
No, but yeah. So just this generation. Like that's
Oh,
something
yeah,
that
yeah,
this
you were saying that.
generation struggles with, is that stuff. So that'll have to be a different podcast that we talk about that.
Oh, yeah, for
The
sure.
spiritual
For
warfare that the
sure.
Christian is going through, don't even realize it.
And not realize it. Oh, man,
Yeah.
that's powerful. I think that's
But
going to bless a lot of
oh,
people.
for sure, it's gonna set some people
Yeah,
free.
yeah, yeah.
We're gonna get Ingrid up in here.
Yeah.
To come
yeah,
over.
yeah, yeah,
Call
yeah.
Sully there.
Sully
Call
there.
the women a guy. Let them
They-
come through. Wilbur too.
They'll come through.
But in regards to distraction, so let's try to give some practical
Yeah, let's pointers.
ideas
Yeah.
of how we can overcome distraction. There was a question here that I saw in an article, and it made me really, I'm like, oh dang. It says, I first want to know, are you wasting time on tasks and issues that are not essential to your goal?
Wow. Yeah, and that's what we were saying earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can be doing something good, but
It's not
it
helping.
doesn't add any value to your goals.
Yeah.
And so that's also a distraction.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I mean, people that talk a lot like us, we
Us is too
get-
many.
It's
You.
too many.
I just kidding.
I can get distracted. I can be
Oh, for
talking
sure.
about a theme and then jump. I saw something and then go and start talking about that and then
Mm-hmm.
come back to the theme and so the conversation became 30 minutes instead of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so
Which is why we started the podcast.
right. So I mean, definitely we got to be careful with things that don't add to the value
Yeah.
of the goals and the vision that God has given us.
Yeah.
So
Are you able to give like an example of something in your life that you have been distracted by, that you're like, it didn't add any value?
to the goal that
Yeah.
even and we're saying like even good things sometimes, like let's say we do I think about it, and I've had to say no to things on Sunday because Sunday we have Safe Place,
Yeah.
and we do music and we worship and we record and we do all that good stuff. And so a lot of times on Sunday, there's people inviting me, hey, can you come over? We want to invite you for a cookout, for this or for that. And a lot of times I have to say, I can't go because I have a certain commitment and I have to get it done at this hour in this day.
Yeah.
So, and then that's practically the day that we have to push everything one day, so.
I think it's so important that if you know that you struggle, with people pleasing,
Yeah.
that you learn to say no.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I don't know if I say no all the time. It depends on what it is. But when it comes to Safe Place, I for sure even
Yeah.
I've missed family things because
Yeah.
I'm like, I know I'm missing out, but this is what is important.
Yeah.
And then there are times that I struggle with saying no, when I'm like low key, like I didn't have to do that, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that you learn how to say no to
Yes.
things,
Yes.
because you do have a goal
Yeah.
or something that's more like what Jesus said, the better thing
Yes.
that you should be having your focus
there
on.
You go. There you go.
So yeah.
So the vision and someone said if you don't have a destination,
Yeah.
you'll take any exit, and because you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the points that we have to bring is figure out where the enemy is distracting you. Is it in your family? Is it in church? Is it seeking for him? Is it what has he's called you to?
Yeah.
And the things that you're doing, are they adding value to that destination? I think that's extremely important. And if you don't have a destination, then set one, and then move forward.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think for me, I think like when you just asked that question, I started to think, I'm like, dang, I low key think that the enemy distracts me by keeping me from being consistent.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think that's
Yes.
the biggest thing. That's been my word for the year. I told you we talked about it last podcast is diligence, because I'll get either discouraged or just tired, and I'm just like, I'm tired, I'm discouraged, I don't want to continue on.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
now my focus, I'm like, I'm gonna do something else.
Yes. Right.
But God has been trying to teach me, be diligent. You give up too easily, be diligent.
Oh wow. Wow.
Praying for people. You know, I have family members that I'm really trusting that the Lord will save their lives and bring them to the feet of Jesus. And how I would get distracted
Yeah.
from praying and keep and being diligent in that is because I got discouraged. It doesn't look
Yeah.
like it's happening, Jesus. They're actually further away from you now.
Right.
So
right,
I
right,
think
right.
discouragement can also cause someone to get distracted. So
Oh, totally. Totally.
that's
totally.
that's for me though.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You get discouraged. You were gonna go run, and you got discouraged. You're not running.
Oh, for sure.
You're not lifting weights. You're not
For
doing any of that.
Sure. For
Because
sure.
now you're discouraged. So yeah, I think it's great points, great little points that we're giving, right?
Yeah.
Anything else before we close?
We already did we talk about how to eliminate distractions? I don't think we did.
No.
So how would you say we can eliminate distractions? Fasting?
Well, yes, but also you can only and
Eliminate it.
actually I did say it.
Okay.
I did say it just wasn't worded that way.
Yeah.
But you can only get rid of distraction
If you're
if
able
you
to.
have a destination. You can't get rid of distraction if you don't have a
You
destination.
don't know where you're going.
So if I told you, no, just start heading, take Flagler up west, just come up. But where am I going? And you pass 12 and 10th and 27th and 57 and 67, and you're like, where are we? Where am I
Yeah.
going? What point? And you saw something you like. Let me pull over and let's see.
Yeah.
So
'Cause I don't even know where
distraction
I'm
will
going.
happen when there's no destination
Yeah.
in our lives.
That's
so
facts.
I think that's even for the young people. Put a destination. There's season in our lives that we have to set destinations to get to them. Maybe you're in school. Your destination is school, and then there's so much distraction in school.
Yeah.
Girls and boys and what else in school? Drugs. In school. Parties.
Yeah.
Just all kind of distractions that will pull you away from your destination. And so we have to set destinations this year
Yeah.
for our lives, even for our spiritual lives. Like I should be able to grow closer to God this year.
Yeah.
But that has to be a destination. If not, I'm gonna get distracted. I'm gonna be over here. I'm gonna be over there. I'm gonna be in this party. I'm gonna be in this doing this thing. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that the answer of that is how to eliminate distraction is setting
destination.
destinations.
Yeah.
Setting destinations.
And then
in our
keep your
lives.
eyes on that destination.
And keep your eyes on this. Keep
That
your eyes on that destination for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
we're done.
Let them know. Make sure you like, subscribe, all those things. Share with somebody that you think would
You said.
benefit from this conversation. And we hope that this does sink into the hearts of the people that are
Yeah.
listening and watching. And again, thank God for PBJ and the wisdom that God has placed in him, and the drive that he has for this podcast. I can't wait to see, I said this last time, but I can't wait to see what God does through you. And
It's going to probably be we're going to try to put out the podcast on YouTube every Monday.
okay.
So just so we can be consistent
Yeah.
and then be able to see some traction,
Cool.
some movement.
Yeah.
And so hopefully, and God willing, God will bless you looking at these podcasts, but
Yeah.
also will bless our lives too. So God bless you guys, and enjoy your day.
That was good. Jerome's in the house. I said Jerome.
Yeah. No, I find podcasts so easy.
Really?
Because I've always done it. I've always done this. It's just I've always done it without a camera and without.
So
but
you be talking to the wall.
No, I've always talked to you guys, to
Oh,
young
yeah,
people,
yeah.
to congregations, to
Yeah.